All right. All right. Good afternoon, friends. Bill here. We're Sports Fan coming back. Try this again. I think we got it worked out. We're going to see what happens. Hey, listen, man, praise God for a wonderful 2 months. As I was saying earlier, we started off the first weekend in January in Los Angeles for the College Football Championship, came back, had a meeting with the Gospel Invasion team leaders, and then we went down for the Gasparilla Festival in Tampa, Super Bowl, NBA All-Star Weekend, and this weekend is the St. Pete Grand Prix in St. Pete, Florida. So looking forward to being down there in some warm weather. As I was saying, the different places that we have the opportunity to travel and preach, you get to see a lot of different parts of the country. And the summer cold, Kansas City wasn't freezing, but it was, we had to dress up in Florida, St. Pete, Lord willing, it'll be about 70 degrees. So Phoenix was warm. So, man, it's interesting to travel around each city having, well, sports fans are sports fans, but each event settled in its own sort of unique setting. And that creates a variety of opportunities for us to interact with people. In other words, people have a certain different slant on views of their faith and so forth. So it's a neat opportunity. This weekend, St. Pete Grand Prix, St. Pete, Florida. If you want to go, let me know. 423-724-7500. You can see my number scrolling across the bottom. Thank you, Heath Pusey, for figuring that out. Isn't that neat? So text me there. Call me, text me there if you want to join us this weekend. 3 days of preaching. Get to the Tampa Bay Baptist Conference Center by Thursday evening. And then we're going to get up early and get after it Friday and Saturday and Sunday all day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday all day. Here's what we're going to do today, Lord willing, is I'm going to try to roll through sort of the sports fan 1,000 things that we are doing and start to paint a better picture. Of what's out there. So we have this weekend's event, and then we have the Final Four, March 31 to April 3rd. These are big multiple day events. I call them industry events. Industries have these multiple day annual conferences, and that's kind of what these events are. Like the Final Four, the St. Pete Grand Prix is an isolated multiple day event. The Final Four, Super Bowl, NBA, MLB All-Star, these are industry events when the league gathers together, and that's what makes these events special, worth going to. Not only are you able to reach a lot of people with the gospel, minister them in the moment, and refer them, Lord willing, to a place to be discipled, a Bible teaching church, to be discipled, but they're also the people who run the league are there, former, present, past players and so forth are there. It's a cross section of people, local fans. They don't go to the games, folks that go to the games, people that run the league. And that's what makes these multiple day events worth our time is going down there. So we got the Final Four coming up, and then we also got the draft coming up as well. I've got it over here. Did I miss the draft? I probably did. I'm going to show this one up here. We will show that. The MLB All-Star, July 8th to 11th. And Seattle, Washington is another industry event. That should be good. See, they move these events around. They're trying to expand the reach of the league. And so our opportunities to go in these cities and spend the time, they're going to be there. And, so I tell people when trying to recruit or speak to pastors, are like, there's three things that sports offer. The second one is the community. So there's a community of people who are part of these leagues. And when we're there the full amount of time, whether it's 3 days or 4 days, we're able to get in the middle of that community. We hear this at the Super Bowl. Hey, those Jesus people are everywhere. And that's that language to me is saying, hey, we're saturating this area. We're saturating this event. And they're giving us that feedback. So that's why that's good. Let me see if I can upload find the NFL draft banner here. There we go. Kansas City. I've got a couple of maybes already, and we've got a house there that'll hold probably 8 to 10 people. Beautiful. NFL Draft, April 27 to 29. Should be another industry event, a good time there as well. And again, in the whole mindset of reaching a community, having a reach beyond the moment, shall we say, in our ministry work. We are. This is how it works for us. These people come to these cities and they go back to where they live. It might be a neighborhood in Kansas City. It might be with a team somewhere else. But they go back. And if you sort of separate yourself from the moment and realize, like the Ethiopian eunuch, there's lots of things that go out there that we don't know. Or Cornelius, Acts chapter 10, and we play a potential role in the pointing these people to Christ, like John the Baptist did, and so Apostle Paul. So if you look at what we're doing scripturally from a scriptural perspective and the way that people interact with one another, that's what I mean, separate ourselves from the moment. And you begin to see that, hey, just like the eunuch, people will come by, they'll ask a question, we'll point them out, Isaiah 53, tell them who it's about, and they'll keep on their way. They may not get baptized, but they might have a moment of conversion in front of us. And so that idea of catching people coming into a place and they go back to their home is reality in what we're doing. Even like I said, if it's a local neighborhood, like again, in these big events, I hope I'm a broken record enough where everybody knows what I'm going to say before I say it, that people from these leagues want these local people who aren't going to the game to come to their fan fest events. So you might have someone from a small town like, in Kansas or Missouri come over there, and just like the eunuch, they go home to their community, and who knows what will happen. So while we don't see this, and I think a lot of times the Lord doesn't let us see it because, at least I'm so prone to pride, but the people go back and we have no idea what's going to happen. So these big multiple day events work like that as well. So that's coming up, the Final Four, the NFL Draft. And then, like I said before, this weekend is a simple big event, St. Pete Grand Prix. So if you want to go to that, like I said, call me, text me. We got room at the Tampa Bay Baptist Conference Center. Again, a couple 100,000 people rolling over a 3-day period. We don't know where they're from. We don't know what's going on. To me, that scenario motivates me to get out there. And it's worth the time and effort to stand there in the middle of those folks for 8 hours. And even at the St. Pete Grand Prix, it's going to be a little noisy. I'm willing to do it for the sake of their salvation and for the sake of interacting with them. So anyway, this weekend there, and we have the Miami Grand Prix. I'm skipping around on the schedule a little bit. We're doing 2 Grand Prix this year. Of course, in one more other states, late 5 to 7. The race is there at the Miami, at the Hard Rock Stadium where the football games are. So we're familiar with that, but same kind of dynamic. These are big events in the city. And so hopefully you'll come down and join us in Miami. And then what will happen, Lord willing, is that like you go home and say, hey, like if you live in Texas, Austin hosts one of the big races there on the Austin track. You might say, hey, why don't we just do something here in the Austin race? And we'll love to plug into our gospel invasion program there as well. So hopefully you'll start to pick up on this as well. Like coming to the events is a momentary, in the moment ministry time. And you have the way the seed goes forward as people come and go. But you also go home and you can hopefully, with Lord willing, to look at life a lot different. Say, hey, there's this big event going on as well, like the Circleville Pumpkin Show that Joshua Richards is leading now. Like 400,000 people come just to pay attention to pumpkins over a weekend in October. Maybe you've got a big event like that as well that you can organize and lead. And we're here to work with you on that. That's what the Gospel Invasion Program is. It's just really taking all the admin off your shoulders so you can go out there and recruit evangelists to spend that full time at your nearby event. Terry Correa is doing Bonnaroo Festival. Brad Madewell, he is doing the Riverbend Festival as well. And Ben Grady's going to run the Music City Grand Prix for us again in Nashville. So this is what we're doing. Bobby McCrary, we're going to throw that up now. It's running the Derby for us as well. So now you start to see that how these things start to work together. Bobby's we've been up there a lot together. He knows the way it works. He can lead this. He led it last couple of years. He does a great job. And so again, trying to inspire you to take on an event and lead is part of what we're trying to do here at Sports Fan Outreach, so the gospel can go into more places. There's only so many places I can go, so many places Bobby can go, so many places Joshua Richard or Ben Grady can go. And so here's where we need you to say, hey, man, I got an event in my area. Let me talk to Bill about getting this thing organized and recruiting guys to go do it. Again, see, you have the same phenomenon at work. People coming in, hearing the gospel in a moment, going back. This is the eunuch or Cornelius, really the Ethiopian eunuch effect. And then you also have people you invite to come evangelize with you, might be from another state as well. And they're going to go back and have the same response that you did as you organized an event. And we can multiply the numbers of people hearing the gospel if we start to sort of see the big picture. And that's certainly what I'm presenting here. The Derby, amazing event. The Churchill Downs, what I'm talking about here is not only the numbers of people, but the distinctive nature of these events. So Churchill Downs is a racetrack. People go there throughout the year to bet on horse racing. That's what it is. And the Derby, Kentucky Oaks is Friday, the Derby Saturday. It's just another day at the track. However, they have these two main events, the Kentucky Oaks Friday and the Derby on Saturday, which attracts all this immense attention. And so the track can't hold 160,000 people. Most Saturdays for the Derby, it fills up to 150 or so, 130 or 150. That's the biggest stadium I've ever been at for sure. Friday, the turnout's about 90 to 100. That's a ton. That's 250. We're talking about 240, 250 people in a 2-day period passing by most of the team out there. So that's what makes the Derby so unbelievable. 2 days, 250,000 people. Let's just round it up a little bit. Bobby leads them out there, split up into 3 or 4 teams and cover the ground. Phenomenal event, fellowship, staying down at Pastor Paul Mathenius Church, Beachmont Baptist Church, 1.9 miles from the track. Bobby can drive the shuttle down back and forth. Such a simple place, has been the last several years. So that's the Derby. That's more than worth your time to join the team to reach 250,000 people. Here's a gospel invasion event. Jason McGow is leading this one, Myrtle Beach, June 1 to 4. He found some great spots for accommodations. The old ones went away, and here's the beauty of it. Jason found this place, Impact Ministries. They actually are down on the boardwalk, it looks like, in Myrtle Beach. They have an ongoing missions program where they're rolling in teams, it looks like, on their website throughout the year. Hey, man, they got space for us on these days. It's biker weekend. That's what those dates are, June 1 to 4. That's what that is. So that's a time to go to Myrtle Beach and preach to a bunch of bikers as well. So here we have another great opportunity. Jason's running with this again. You guys may know Jason from the Super Bowl, other events. He does a great job. So get on board with Jason in Myrtle Beach. So you start to also see how these events are spread around. St. Pete this weekend, the draft in Kansas City. You got this in Myrtle Beach, the Derby in Louisville. These places, Final Four, Houston, Texas, the Music City Grand Prix in Nashville, the Circleville Pumpkin Show in Circleville, Ohio, Bonnaroo, Manchester, Tennessee, Riverbend Festival, Chattanooga. You start to blanket the globe, the nation here with events and gospel preachers. And that's kind of the big idea, what we're getting at. So if you want to join Jason, there's the link. Tap it in, and all the info is there. And Lord willing, his way to get in touch with him as well. I don't know if y'all know this or not. Again, we're laying the groundwork here for some future SFOI Live with Bill, Sports Event Outreach Canada. We're a registered charity in Canada now. And Michael Rutherford from Swift Current is working with us. And so I'm excited about that. And so we're pressing forward on one main event for next year, the Grey Cup, November 19th. We're also going to start talking about really Sports Fan 1000 events up in Canada. Let me show you this event that he found, and this is what we're going to try to do going forward here. We've got a game in Canada, in Toronto. This is what we call soccer down here, and that's on March the 28th at BMO Field. That's a great field. I was up there. I got a video about it we can show as well. And so this is what we're after, looking for evangelists in the Toronto area. You can go preach at this game. So do you know anybody up there? We know a couple of guys, but I'm always looking for more evangelists. Do you know anybody in Toronto or Hamilton or Burlington or nearby that can go and preach at this game? This is what we're after, just expanding this a little bit. I'm going to see if I can pull this up a little bit, this video about BMO Field. See if we can really get sophisticated here in our operation. So we got it.
Hey, my name's Jason Cantrell from Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, give me a minute. I don't think we're in a hurry, are we? Let's see. Let's see what we got. There we go. Prince Bill here, sports fan, outreach candidate, BMO Stadium, home of the Toronto Argonauts and the Toronto. All right, there we go. We're going to try to throw this on there and see what happens. There you go. Prince Bill here, sports fan, outreach candidate, BMO Stadium, home of the Toronto Argonauts and the Toronto FC football team. This is an ideal location for gospel preaching. You got big wide sidewalks right there, and on that side of the street as well. Then over here you have the trolley stop right here. People coming off the trolley, going to the game, walking right by. So man, you could just plop it right here, preach catching people going by. In fact, I'd either stand right there or stand like right here by this pole and, you know, preaching, calling to repent and believe, pass out tracts, minister to people. Perfect spot to be at for this stadium. I was going to say, you know, like we've been talking about, we advocate being at the home games here. This is a perfect spot to get out here and be able to begin to penetrate the community of both Canadian Football League and the Major League Soccer fans as well. Plus the local citizens. What that means, all the people that work out here, come out to the games, work here, and are out here as well. So ideal location. BMO field right here. So yeah, man, see it, that's right there. That's where that game's being played. So we want to encourage folks, if you know anybody that can join us, this is what we're looking for, guys to come, and we can use that event as a way to get guys to say, hey, I can get up there and do it. Run it one more time. We'll check out here. All right, there we go. Canada. So Canada's playing Honduras. That looks like a Nations League game. That's a special game. Like it's not a league game. It's just a special one-time game. So Canada. Let's talk about some upcoming Sports Fan 1000 leagues here as well. Sports Fan Outreach 1000 NBA. So we really would love, if you live near an NBA arena, we talk about NBA and NHL right this second. NBA and NHL. That is. And let me try this. We're figuring out. He figured this stuff out today. We're going to try it. Let's see. All right, beautiful. All right, so if you click there, you'll come to the NBA League. We're looking for guys to go preach NBA games. We're over halfway through the season. That's what the NBA All-Star Weekend was last weekend, 2 weekends ago. It marked halfway through the season, and so they're pressing on. So that would be 40-something, probably 35 games left. And so at this point, if you live near a NBA arena, if you click on that link, or you will see the list of teams, and it should bring you to the team site, and you can see where the arena is. Click on that and see what's close to you, and then plan to go preach there for at least this point. If they have 35 total games, you're probably looking at 18 home games, at least half the home games that are coming up, at least half. If you could do that, that'd be ideal, and we could post it on our social media and look for guys to come out and help you as well. Just get this ball rolling, reaching more people. Like I said, that is the idea: getting more people out preaching, so more people will come and. Say, there you go. See how that works. All right, cool. Oops, wrong one. I meant to do NHL. I meant to do NHL. Bear with me. What that says NHL, isn't it? Yeah, I sent her the wrong thing. There we go. All right, NBA NHL. So preach at least half the home games, or as many as possible, at least half, 9 or 10, as many as possible. And if you got a good team, they're going to go to the playoffs, and so you're going to have the home team playing 3 to 4 games at home. So it'll be over pretty quick if they don't win, but it's not a lot of games to penetrate the community. So if you live near one of those teams for the NBA or NHL, then please text me, call me, 423-724-7500, and we'll put you on the list and start telling people you're out there preaching. And that's how that works. And this whole thing really builds through one guy going, another guy going, the next guy going. It builds that kind of momentum. So this is what we encourage. I'm going to be at the Tampa, so I'm going to be down there anyway this weekend, one of the Tampa Lightning games next, probably Tuesday night. And I love preaching. That's a great spot. If I lived there, that's what I would do, go to all those games. But this is what we're trying to promote, going down there and preaching. Scott Smith and I were down there. This was last year. One of the officers came up, and he was glad to see us and said, hey, pray for me about this or that. So just things happen immediately. I was down there the other day after Gasparillo, and some guy staggered up. I mean, it's just they're people, and you preach, things happen, right? You preach, things happen. Think of it that way. And so anyway, if you live near an NHL, NBA arena, then let me know. You can preach there. Sometimes they play at the same place. Sometimes a city only has one team. So let me know there as well. Also got coming up is the MLB, which starts April the 1st, I believe, is the first game. April. That's the first game. So check out the schedule. The teams are listed on the site. There should be a link to their schedule and see what's going on and pick there. They have a long season. They play 80 home games, 165 total games. You have a long season. When I lived in Atlanta, Chap and I, my old buddy Chap, would go down to the Braves games all the time. Great spot. As long as they drew fans, it was a great spot to be at. There's that element of this thing. If the team doesn't draw fans, especially at a large baseball stadium, sometimes it's a challenge. Arenas are easier. There's only a couple of doorways in. But anyway, check out the baseball league and let's see what we got there. And the big idea here is that if we can get rolling, is that like if you're doing baseball, so say we got 10 evangelists committed to SFOI 1000 baseball MLB. Well, then the MLB All-Star is a place where we all can gather together, and all the guys participating in Sports Fan 1000 MLB come together, celebrate, reach the local fans, and go home and develop some camaraderie for the process, much less if you got 15 or 20. Same with NBA, same with NHL. And this is kind of what we're trying to do with the college football. Super Bowl sort of transcends all these things, but college football as well. Guys are preaching at college games and then track their team through the playoffs, however those begin to unfold. We'll all end up at the host city for the college football championship and just have this sort of, although we're in separate places, have this team developed across the country as we're preaching and praying together and working together through the fall. This is the big idea. In Canada, we've got the Canadian Football League. We've got the Canadian MLS. We're going to throw this up here. We've got to get the Canadian site put up. Michael's going to help me with that. Didn't know it yet. But let's see. When is the first game? Full schedule. So the first game is April 15th for FC. So we're going to throw that up there right this second. Canada begins the 1st of June, the Canadian Football League. There we go. Did that. Oh, it's scrolling upside down. There you go. I think that's what it's doing, isn't it? All right, those are the two leagues. Canadian FC is really football club, and that's the top link. Check that out. CFL is there. And if you know guys in Canada, check out the cities and so forth, and plan on preaching up there as well. I'm looking for men who want to get out and preach the gospel. If you know any in Canada, like I said, that's the goal here. Across the country, let me know. I'd love to chat with them and try to plug them in to reach the sports fans. And then if you know some guys that are looking to get active on one of these multiple day events, likewise, we're trying to plug them into that as well. Let's see if there's a place. I can't tell if who's watching. Keith, you out there? I don't know. Can you send me a message if you're out there watching? We used to get anyway, I'm trying to work this whole thing out. Listen, it's been a good time. We're laying the groundwork for going forward in the spring. Sports for 1000, NBA, NHL, and MLB the 1st of April, and NBA and NHL now. Canada starting in April for football and June for CFL as well. Got our big events coming up. And so we're going to keep talking about these events and plus the multiple day industry events and large events as well. And hope we'll catch you out there with us somehow, some way. But our main mission, again, is the gospel being heard in more places more often by more people. And that's our great mission. And so I hope you will, if you haven't joined up with us yet, you'll do so. And then eventually maybe run your own event, and we can partner with that as well. Listen, friends, it's dark out there. So I've been saying lately, I guess I'm going to call it a revelation. If Jesus is the light of the world and there's no other light, then if there's not the light on, there's no light. It's dark. Now we're comfortable living in the dark as sinners, in a sense, sinners living in this world, converted sinners living in the world. We're used to the dark. But if it's dark, if he's the light and it's dark out there, we need to go turn on the light. We need to take our Bibles out there and stand in the open air amongst these thousands of people, whether it be one Atlanta Hawks game or one Boston Bruins game or the St. Pete Grand Prix amongst the tens of thousands of people every day, whatever it might be. We need to we have an obligation in a sense to seek the lost, the sinners and the sick, to bring the light to these people. We don't have a work to do to justify ourselves. Of course, we all believe that. We have an obligation to the people. Listen, we can talk, say we love our neighbor all we want, and walk by and smile at them, but if we really love them, we're going to go bring the light to them. We're going to go bring eternal life to them, preach it to them, and call them to repentance and faith. That's really our job, right? That's all we can do. We can pray about it, preach about it, pray the Holy Spirit convicts them of sin, righteousness, and judgment, these things. I'll be there to hand out literature, tracts, Bibles, pray with people, and just that's our mission. Paul says, who Who is Paul? Who is Apollos? But men by whom you believe. We preach Christ, not ourselves, because Jesus saves, and so we understand our role in this process. So we're looking for guys who want to get out there and preach, who really sort of have a, I don't like the word burden. Like a burden is a big weight. I don't really have a burden. I just understand the implications here of what's going on. I think that's sufficient. We don't have to have an emotional experience to realize that sinners live in the dark. And then you hear the gospel. If you got 5 or 10,000 sinners gathering in one place, we should be there with our Bibles, bringing our light and life to them as best as possible. All right, friends, listen, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you soon, Lord willing. Hope to see you soon. Again, we're going to roll this up last thing. If you are able this weekend to join us in St. Pete, call me, text me, 423-724. I'm going to try this one more time before we see how sophisticated we can be. Just signing off there. There it is. Give me a ring if you can come down and join us, 423-724-7500.